Hi, my name is Stephen Hales. I'm one of the founders of Upfest, the Urban Paint Festival, which takes place in Bristol annually now. This year we've got around 250 artists coming from all around the world to paint live at the festival over the course of the weekend. We deal with a spectrum of sort of artists, from guys that do paste ups to guys that do freehand, to stencil artists, even sort of like illustrators that want to come and paint on a large scale. The main sort of requirement for the festival is A, either you've painted on the street, or B, you're quite happy to paint large in front of sort of crowds of people. When do I think graffiti's art? When it's a crime? Personally, I think all graffiti's art, whether it's sort of like tagging or whether it's big sort of production pieces by sort of groups of artists. When it's a crime, that's dictated by the law of the land, the council, and obviously sort of building owners. Lots of spaces, especially if we're sort of like talking about Bristol. You know, there are lots of spaces. Ones which are classed as legal ones, and there's other ones which are sort of like tolerated areas, which have been painted sort of like for years. If you look around sort of like Stokescroft and the front of sort of like shops there, you know, that's organised locally to create a sort of atmosphere for the area, and you can go and speak to the guys at the Republic of Stokescroft, for instance, and they can sort of usually arrange sort of a space for you down that end. And like around the city, we get loads of people coming into our gallery going, oh, I'd love a piece of art on my garage door, etc. And we can sort of hook artists up with sort of legal spots. Outside of that, I'd say the council are becoming more and more on board, and I think you'll sort of see over the next couple of years that there will be more and more sort of council buildings which will be allowed to be painted.
Started when we were in sort of year 10. There was a group of us, probably about 12 of us who did it. We operated under sort of the group name ECP, all in and around the Bristol area. It was around year 10 when we did it. There was no real drive to do it, but we just thought, oh, it's something to do, something to go out. We saw ourselves as less troublesome than sort of people who go out drinking and cause riots like that.
Graffiti on the walls and everything is really good. I just wish it wouldn't graffiti on the ramps, because as soon as you get a bit of moisture on the ramps they become icy, and I've hurt myself a couple of times because of it. It looks really nice, some of the stuff's really good, and they should be able to do it and they should carry on, but they just shouldn't do it on the ramps.
The way we got caught was in Bristol. There's actually a dedicated graffiti unit who investigates all the graffiti, because it's quite a big thing in Bristol. obviously Banksy being known, but the graffiti unit got some talk with local residents after we'd hit up some wall, like this big wall by a school. The police got in and spoke to the residents in the area. Then once they did that, they got in contact with people who knew who went to what school. They found our school and then they pulled us out of lessons and took us down to the police station from then. They had huge folders, huge files. They'd been working on it a couple of months, and obviously it was a big operation to catch us.
I think it's fair that artists such as Banksy, that he can get away with sort of painting illegally. I think on the whole nowadays he probably gets permission, but no, it's not fair that there should be sort of like one rule for one, another rule for another. Painting on a private person's property without their permission, anybody, it should be the same rule to everybody.
But all I can say is it's a very good use of the wall.
It's funny when you see all the tourists come and just stand right here and take pictures of it. Because when you live here, it's just part of the natural scenery here.
It's not as obvious as like the meanings isn't as obvious as other Banksy works, but it's still quite good. And I'm glad the council have approved it as well, because I know it's one of the few sort of bits of graffiti the council have actually allowed to stay there and sort of try to look after.
And I could have restricted my life really. So it's a good thing we did get caught. Some of the more hardcore members of our group were also looking to do train bombing. They'd done van bombing before, and they'd also done a couple of rooftops in and around the centre of Bristol. But they were looking to hit up the train station near Temple Meads. So in terms of graffiti, in terms of the legalities of it and the sort of either the art form or is it vandalism, you got to make sure you do it legally. It's not worth getting the criminal record for it. Yeah, do it as an art, go to the legal places such as Stokescroft, do it in your sketch pads, maybe do it on canvas. Yeah, you don't get the sort of underground feel of it, but it's just not worth risking ultimately job opportunities, your life and everything, just for a moment's flash of adrenaline. So.